Okay, let's see. Get myself together. I think I'm ready. Turn this way. Put this up. Oh, there we go. So I can get a little closer. I don't think I'll use that. I think I'll just use this one. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Andre Jones is watching. Hey, Andre, what's up, man? What's going on, brother? Welcome to the webinar. Let's see here. I got a few things here. All right. We're going to give it a few minutes and let some other people come in, man. And then I'll go ahead and get started. Tell Kim. This is going to be a good one. I'm excited about this one. There she is. What's up, my friend? Huh? Your love of cats. What's up, girl? It's been a long time since we talked, right? I was hoping you were doing okay. So here's the deal, guys. And I will be probably repeating this throughout the course of the webinar. I can't see the comments, okay? I'm live on my phone, and for some reason, I can't see. So if you send a comment, if you write a comment, for some reason, I can't see it. No matter how, I don't know why, I don't know how, maybe you guys do. If you know how to help me fix that, please do. I need some bubble water. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to wait a few minutes. We're going to give it a few minutes. Anna, how's your hand? Hur går det med handen? Är det bättre eller? Jag vet, du kan inte svara. Du kan svara, men jag kan inte läsa din svar. Andre, how you doing, man? What's going on, brother? Anna, that's my brother Andre. My little brother Andre. Lives in North Carolina, I believe, right? Is that right, Dre? Anyway, so we're going to give it a few more minutes. See, I want a few more people to come in. And like I said, for some reason, I can't see your comments. I don't know why. Let's see if I can figure that out. Enable Q&A. I guess maybe we do like that. Okay. And then if we do like this. Let's see. Slow connection. Yeah, I'm not too good at this, trying to fix the comments and stuff. Here we go. Let's see what happens if I do that. Oh, I wrote okay, but write a comment and let me see if I can see it real quick. Increase engagement by inviting members of your audience to join your broadcast. Join? What do you mean join my broadcast? Invite, what does that mean? Oh, yeah, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. No. Okay, cool. All right, let's give it a few seconds, guys. Let's give it a few seconds. I hope you guys are doing okay. I was gone this past week. My wife and I, we have I think I told you, we have a summer house, Andre, because Dre probably don't know. So it's 4.5 hours, 3.5 hours south of Stockholm. We have this little cottage that we go to right by the lake. So we went down there. It's kind of like our little retreat kind of thing. Basically what we did was we went down there basically to detox. We ate vegetarian for the whole, I think 2 weeks or something. And we just went down there, man, and we cleansed our mind and just got, right, with the universe or God, for those of you that, are into that. And we were going to come back early, but, it ended up staying a couple extra days. And it was nice. So we just got back, actually. Not even an hour ago, or maybe, about an hour ago. And then I had to set this up. I'm really excited about this webinar. This is going to be a good one. This is going to be one that actually is close to me. It's going to be something that it really speaks from, from personal experience. Something that I went through recently, as a matter of fact, when it comes to my company and everything else like that. So I hope to really give you guys some real good tools that you can use. You know what I'm saying, to do. Let's see, where are we? 7:05. Okay. You know what? I'm not gonna wait anymore. Let's go. I always wait too long to try to get more people in, but 2 is enough. My wife is on her way as well. So anyway, yeah. So welcome to Level Up Coaching and Consulting. Welcome to Level Up Group. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining the webinar. Today is a webinar that I'm really excited about, and so it's going to probably go a little longer. I don't know. Usually my webinars are, anywhere from 40 minutes to I try to keep it under an hour. This one might be, at an hour, maybe a few minutes more. I don't know, whatever. But I'm really excited about it. So I don't think I have to introduce myself because it's only, 2 people here, and you guys know who I am. You know that I do coaching, and I have my coaching business and my company and everything else like that. So we can bypass all of that. Today's webinar is going to be letting go of ego. Okay, what we're going to talk about today is letting go of ego in order to fulfill your purpose. So that is something that is very, if I'm going to be honest with you, is very personal to me. Like I said, this retreat that we went to, we went down to our summer house for the week. And we was there, a little over a week, but to, cleanse and detox and get away from all of the negativity and social media and all whatever else. And while down there, I had a few experiences of my own as far as, my ego and, trying to build my business and what's going on and whatever else like that. So in order for you to fulfill your purpose, in order for you to actually get to where it is you want to be in your life, you have to let go of your ego. All right. So we're going to talk about that. I got a few points, so I'm going to go ahead and get right into it. First of all, let's see. Why does this topic matter? So obviously today, the world we live in, everybody and everything is pretty much ego driven. What's in it for me? What can I do? What can I get out of it? How can I benefit? If I help you, how can I benefit from helping you? Instead of, how can I help you? Right? Everybody's in it for themselves. And I think that the reason that people are not being successful at whatever it is they're trying to do is because they're going about it the wrong way. They're going about it with an ego and selfish driven mindset. I'll use an example as being a coach. So if I coach people, I can make a lot of money. So if you're doing it for that reason, or you're doing it for the reason of being famous, or you're doing it for the reason of the notoriety or the ego, whatever, then you're doing it for the wrong reason, right? And that's why it's not working out for you. So, and that goes with, obviously anything in life. So let's see here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go to a quick overview of the session. Those of you, I think a few more people are coming in, but those of you that are, you guys know about my webinars, how I do them and everything. How I do it is I break down what we're going to talk about. I go through the bullet points and then we'll break it down. So it's basically a few bullet points, but it's going to take a while. So basically the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go through understanding the ego. Okay. Because anything we're going to deal with or work with or fix or try to help, we have to understand it and we have to define it. Correct? Correct. Number 2, we're going to talk about how it blocks purpose. And then we're going to talk about the strategies of letting it go. And then I want to kind of give you guys some interactive exercises or, things that you can think about, while you're at home. You don't have to answer these questions, to me, although the Q&A is open, so you can ask questions. But, this is basically just some things I want to, just to, tickle your mind a little bit. All right. So before we go ahead into the main meat of it, let me give you a bit of an appetizer. Let me ask you a couple of questions. I'm going to ask you 3 questions. Number 1, when you hear the word ego, what comes to mind? Like, what do you think about when you think about the word ego? We're going to get into it. I'm not going to, go into it now. I'm going to go into it later. I just want you guys to think about that. What do you think about when I say ego? It's the first thing come to your mind. Okay? All right, number 2, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you think ego influences your decisions? On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not that much, 10 being absolutely 100%. How much does your ego influence you making your decisions? All right, number 3, what's one thing you would pursue if fear and failure didn't exist? Pretend there's no such thing as fear. Pretend there's no such thing as failure. What would you go after? What would you do? Now, I want you guys to keep those questions in mind because we may come back to them. But during the course of the webinar, you will see some things that answer those questions and basically attack those questions, right? Okay? So we have pride and or selfishness. That's what you're talking about when it comes to ego. Okay, all right, cool. Now I can see the comments. That's really weird. Thank you. We're going to get to that, actually. So slow down. Okay. All right, here we go. So number 1 is understanding the ego. So I put this presentation together. I had, sort of a short time span to do it, but I did it and I feel pretty proud of it. So let's talk about the ego. The ego is, oh, hey, Karina Vetelov is in the building. Ego can be both good and bad. Yes. We're going to get to that as well. That's later on down in the, that's actually right around here. We're going to talk about that. So yeah. So the ego is the mind's way of constructing self-identity. Okay. Building and making self-identity. Okay. What happens, though, is that it thrives on external validation, meaning it thrives on what other people say about us or think about us or what they do to how they make, whatever they do makes how it makes us feel, okay? We're talking about comparison. We're talking about control. All right, that's what the ego thrives on. It likes to, this can both be useful, like Karina said. It can both be useful, which is good, providing structure, and it can be bad, which is limiting, and it'll keep you, or us rather, trapped in a false sense of reality, a false, bubble, if you will. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a bit of a instead of like doing the whole dictionary thing, I'm gonna break it down in two different columns. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go ego versus a healthy self-esteem. Okay, so let's go. Ego is based on external validation. What does that mean? Status, achievements, opinions of other people, accomplishments, that's what ego thrives off of, right? Healthy self-esteem is based on internal self-worth. What is that? Acceptance, self-acceptance, values, okay, integrity, all of the things from the inside. Do you see what I'm saying? So ego is basically attracted to and hungry for and thirsty after the things from the outside. What people think, how people look at you when you dress a certain way. What's your title? What's your status? How much money you got? What kind of car you drive? All these superficial bullshit things that absolutely mean zero, nothing. That's what the ego is attracted to, right? A healthy version of self-esteem comes from within. It's got nothing to do with the clothes I wear, the house I live in, any of the material things, any of the, social or status or social norms. It's got nothing to do with that. Okay, so that's kind of that's one of the things. And then we can also say ego is driven by comparison and competition, right? I have to compare myself to someone else. If I'm scrolling through Instagram, oh look, so and so did this, this, and this. Oh, they just got back from the Bahamas. Blah blah blah. First of all, stop comparing yourself to other people, please. That's first of all. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is you don't know what someone has done to get to where it is that they are, right? And then also when you're watching Instagram and Facebook and all of that, 9 out of 10 of that stuff is just stuff that they show you. That's their highlight reels, right? They just show you the fact that they went. They're not showing you, hey, Elizabeth. Oh, Ellie. That's my friend Ellie. Hey, Ellie. Thank you for joining. You don't know what they actually had to do to get to that point, right? So if you compare that being driven with compassion, or I'm sorry, with comparison and competition versus the healthy self-esteem, which is driven by self-improvement and authenticity. Self-improvement, that's what your healthy self-esteem is driven on, improving on yourself. And again, it comes from the inside, right? Not the outside. It doesn't care about what other people are doing. It doesn't care about what other people are saying. It's not competing against anyone else. You're not even competing against yourself. Okay, basically, you're being your authentic self. That is a healthy level of self-esteem. Okay, and then I'll do one more. Ego is fearful of failure and rejection. Of course, because it's competitive. It's thirsty for, attention. Look at me. Look what I'm doing. Give me validation. Tell me I'm okay. Tell me I'm enough. Tell me I'm good enough, right? So of course it's afraid of fear. Of course it's afraid of stepping out of the comfort zone. Of course it's afraid of rejection. What are people going to think, right? The opposite is a healthy level of self-esteem, which sees fear and failure as a growth stepping stone, okay? An opportunity for growth and open to feedback, okay? An opportunity to say, okay, I failed. What happened? Oh, man. Okay, well, I won't do that again. How do I learn from that? That's your self-esteem part. Ego doesn't know how to do that because it's all about himself or herself, all right? So those are a couple of the comparisons. There's a whole bunch of them, but I don't really want to go through too much of them because what I want to do is, okay, let me ask you a question. Think of a time when ego led you to make a decision and it didn't work out right. We can think about a million different, but think about a specific situation where ego led you to make a decision and that didn't line up with your true self, with who you really are, right? And if you don't have to tell me, you don't have to write it down in the comments, but think about that, okay? That's the difference, and that's what I'm trying to get you to see, the difference between ego and self-esteem. We got somebody else here, Ronnie Matson. Hey, Ronnie, welcome. Thank you for joining. Welcome to the webinar. So let's see what else we got here. So we're done with that part. So what I want to do now is I want to go into how the ego blocks purpose. Now we understand that there's a difference between ego and a healthy level of self-esteem. And we understand the difference between the two, right? What the ego wants is from the external world, what they see, how everybody sees them, right? And the healthy level of self-esteem thrives on what's from within. Okay, so we understand that part. Okay, so now we understand a bit of the ego, what it is and what we got to do. Hey, Zandy, welcome. Welcome to the webinar. We're talking about ego today. Okay, we're talking about the difference between the ego and a healthy level of self-esteem and how the ego can stop you basically from fulfilling your purpose. Okay, last week we talked about purpose. This week we're going to talk about how the ego can stop you from doing that and what you can do to, manage that, okay? Because there's no cure for the ego, but there's management. You can manage it. You can keep it in check, okay? So how does the ego block purpose? There's a few ways, but the ego can block us from living our purpose in 3 major ways. There's a lot of different ways. Trust me, but I broke down just a couple, okay? Let's see what we have here. What's going on here? Hang on a second. I got cancel. There we go. Hi there. Okay. So now I can see my comments. Anyway, the 3 major ways, and I'm break them down. The illusion of control, okay? Or you can say fear and surrender. Comparison, competition, self-doubt, right? And then the cycle of chasing what? Status. Okay, the cycle of chasing status. So those are the 3 major, like I said, there's a lot of different ways. My knee. There's a lot of different ways that the ego can stop us from fulfilling our purpose. But I thought those 3 were pretty much in today's world, the world we live in today, those 3 are kind of the most relevant. So I kind of want to go through them. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So the illusion of control and fear of surrender. What exactly does that mean, Andrew? What are you talking about? The fear of surrender, the illusion of control. What are you talking about, bro? So basically, the ego wants what? Certainty. The ego wants predictability. Why? Why does the ego want predictability? Why does the ego want certainty? Because that's something that the ego can control. You understand what I'm saying? The illusion of control. You think you're actually in control of a situation, when in actuality you're not. But that's a whole other conversation. And so the ego wants, okay, so it resists change, fear stepping into the unknown. Like I said earlier, the ego will never allow you to step outside your comfort zone, ever. Because that's not something that the ego can control. And the variables of stepping outside of your comfort zone are so wide and so unknown, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know up from down, in from out, failure from success. And the ego's like, yeah, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Stay right here where I can control, where I can see what's going on and make things happen. But that's an illusion, because you're not actually controlling anything. What you're doing is basically stopping yourself from moving forward. Right? You're not controlling anything. You're only stopping yourself from actually growing and getting to that purpose that you really want to get to. Okay? So it keeps us stuck in the comfort zone. What's going on my computer here? There we go. It keeps us stuck in the comfort zone. And being stuck in the comfort zone basically limits us. And then what happens? You're in your comfort zone, right? Ego is controlling that. You're missing all of those opportunities out and around you. You can't see them because you're looking like this. You can't see all the opportunities around you that are moving around, the things that can actually help you get towards your purpose, the things that can actually help you get towards your goal. You'll never see it because you're stuck, right? Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. So this, let's see, an example. Well, I guess we can give an example. Let's think of an example. If you are a artist, or if you are a business owner, you have a restaurant, let's say, and you have a menu, and your menu works, but you have an idea that maybe your menu, if you expand your menu, maybe your restaurant will grow a little bit more. But see, ego says, no, don't expand. It's good, right? It's good the way it is. What happens? It's good the way it is until it isn't. And then all the other restaurants start expanding. Next thing you know, you're stuck in this little, what you thought was a comfort zone, and now it's not. Does that make sense? Am I making sense to everybody? I hope you guys hope that makes sense. So let me give you a solution. Instead of shift your thinking. Instead of thinking of control, right, and using your ego, think of trust. Focus on the process, not just the result, okay? Not just the end product here, or the outcome rather. That's one of the things. Practice letting go through, you can mindfulness, surrender, surrender mindfulness, and let go of the control by accepting the fact that everything can and will be uncertain, okay? And the fact that it's uncertain and you're letting it go and that fear steps in is a part of growth. So here's the deal. When you let go and you surrender and you accept uncertainty, you accept the unknown, that's going to bring fear. That's going to bring doubt. That's going to bring worry. You know what I mean? And then your ego's really going to flip out because that's not something that it can control. But allow that and just sit in it. Just sit in it. Allow it to be a part of you because it's okay. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay to have doubt. It's okay to, what's going on? I don't know what's happening here. That's fine. That's okay. That is the first step of growth, right? Now you're starting to grow because you're starting to let go of the control. You're starting to let go of the whole, I need to see the whole playbook before I start the game. No. Take your time. Slow down. Okay? Which is a lesson I learned this week, by the way. Take your time, slow down, let go, and understand letting go is growth. That's the first part of growth. And that's stepping out of your comfort zone, I promise you, is so much better on the other side. And believe me, it is so much better on the other side, I promise you. Okay? Nothing good happens in your comfort zone. Nobody grows in their comfort zone. Keep that in mind. All right? So that's the first part. The second part is comparison competition and self-doubt. So the ego thrives on external validation. Like I said, look at me, see me, give me validation. Tell me I'm good enough. Tell me I'm okay. Tell me I'm beautiful. Tell me I'm rich. Tell me I'm this, whatever, right? The ego thrives on that. This creates a feeling of what? When you thrive on the outside, so if you, when you're moving through your ego and you're thriving and you're allowing your ego to dictate how you move, you're hoping that people will see you and see you the way you want them to see you. You're hoping that people will give you, people in the outside, the world, society, whatever, gives you what you need to fill you up on the inside. But what happens with that? What happens with that is it never works. It never works, bro. Like, it never works. What happens with that is you'll start to have these weird feelings of what? Inadequacy, jealousy, imposter syndrome, running away from your authentic self, starting to pretend to be something that you're not, just so that you can be accepted, right? And then when that doesn't work and you see somebody else making it, of course, like I said, jealousy, inadequacy, and then we have anxiety and frustration, and the whole spiral starts. That's because you're eating the wrong food, right? That's because you're eating the poison of outside validation instead of eating the right food of inside validation, which is being 100% comfortable in who you are and what you're about, okay, based on your own personal self-improvement, right? Healthy sense of self-esteem. We covered that earlier, right? Remember? Okay. So, there's really no, okay, so you have I wrote down here, and you have a business, we talked about that, the example. So the solution for that is change your thought process from comparison to contribution. All right? So what does that mean? What are you talking about? Comparison to contribution. What exactly do you mean when you say that, Mr. Murphy? What I'm saying is, I had to say this to myself, starting my business, building my business, going back and forth with the business and trying to, being frustrated and things aren't working and I'm doing everything I can, blah, 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 right? So I had to stop and I had to say, okay, I can't compare myself to the other people that do what I do. So, contribution. How can I serve? Okay? Instead of how can I measure up? Instead of me looking at my mentors, right? The people who have coached me, throughout my life or throughout my whole coaching career and throughout this past couple of years or whatever. And these are people who have, coaching businesses that are, on a scale far beyond the scale that my coaching business is on, right? Instead of me comparing myself to them, instead of me looking at them and going, can I measure up to that status, right? Instead of doing that, I say, wait, how can I serve? What can I do? Okay, what can I do to help as many people as I can in this business, in this space, right? Once you focus on yourself, okay, and you say, hey, you know what? I'm going to focus on what I can do, nobody else, because nobody can do what I can do the way I can do it, right? There's a billion gazillion coaches out here in the world, right? But nobody does what I do the way I do it, right? Because I'm unique, I'm me, right? So once you focus on that, whatever it is I'm not even talking about business, man. I'm not talking about opening a restaurant or having a coaching business or, my wife is an artist. I'm talking about whatever it is in your life, whatever it is you want to do, whatever goal, whatever aspiration, whatever purpose you feel you have, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? How can you serve? How can you do what you do best? Don't worry about somebody else and how they're doing it. Basically, is the whole thing, is stop thinking about what the people are doing and focus on yourself. Right? That's basically what it is. Okay, so that's the solution from that. How can I measure up? Focus on your personal journey. I say this all the time. I do reels about it all the time. It's called personal development, right? Personal development, not our development, not her development. It's personal development, okay? It is a personal growth journey. Instead of competing with others, you focus on your personal journey, right? I always use the analogy of when you're driving down a highway, and let's say you got, I don't know, let's say there's 4 lanes in the highway, and you're in lane number 2. You got to focus on being in lane number 2. You can't look at 3 and 4 over here or 1 over here. You're going to crash into something. Pay attention to what's going on with you. Focus on you. And trust me, there's enough to focus on that'll keep you busy, believe me. All right? So that's number 2. Number 3, let's see how we're doing here on time. Okay, cool. Number 3, the cycle of chasing status versus fulfilling a deeper purpose. So the ego prioritizes, we talked about this earlier, but the ego also prioritizes, titles, achievements. I'm Mr. So-and-so. I'm a doctor. Look what I've done. My son has graduated, all of that kind of stuff, right? Social recognition, basically, right? And many people basically stay in, unhappy careers, relationships, and, life situations, basically just because of the way it looks. They've been married 20 years and they've been fighting 19. Like, they hate each other. I've had this job for 16 years and you hated every minute of it, but you stay there because look at me. You know what I mean? It's this whole, it's basically how it looks to other people. They think that we think that people care about what it is we're doing. And, we think that people are looking at us going, ooh, he did. Look at him. They're not. I'm sorry. You're staying in this job or in this worthless relationship or living in this, environment or whatever it is you're doing because you want to look like you're strong enough. You want to look like you're good enough. You want to look like you're doing it. You're successful. You're big. Guess what? People don't care about your success. They don't care about how you look. They don't care about the fact that you stay. They don't care. I'm sorry, but they don't. They really don't, bro. Because they don't have time to care about you. You understand? They too busy trying to figure out their own shit. They don't care about you. They may talk about you and say negative things about you, but they're not caring. They're not sitting there studying you every moment like we think that they are, right? We think that they're not. Okay, so that you got to get out of that mindset. You got to shift that mindset and you got to go, okay, instead of me, because what it does, it basically leads to burnout. It leads to dissatisfaction. It leads to depression because you feel stuck. It leads to, the anxiety, fear, frustration, anger, and here we go with the downward spiral, right? So, the solution, shift your status to authenticity, okay? Shift from status, look at me, look what I'm doing, instead of that, shift your thinking to authenticity. Be authentic, okay? Put it like this. Would I still be doing this if nobody was watching? Right? Would I still be doing this if nobody was paying attention? Right? Or am I only doing this so I can be seen? So I can be heard? So I can be paid attention to? So I can be, my ego can be fed and I can be, you understand? Now, if you ask yourself that question and the answer is no, then you know what it is you need to do. So that's how you shift it, okay? That's how you shift your mind. You have to, in order for you to shift your mindset from status to authenticity, or what was the other one I had up here? Comparison to contribution, or whatever else, right? In order for you to be able to shift your mindset from that, you have to first of all come to grips with that is the mindset that you have. You have to come to grips with it and admit that, okay, this is where I'm operating out of ego. Okay, so how do I shift? How do I change it? Well, where am I operating out of ego at? What am I thinking about? I'm thinking about this or this. Okay, so then I shifted. Let me talk about gratitude. Let me think about what I can do from the inside out. Always revert to the inside. That's easier said than done. Okay, easier said than done, but revert to the inside. Now, we talked a bit about the ego. We talked about how it can stop us. Hey, tell us. Who is this? Tedros. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Thank you for joining. So we talked about the ego. We talked about basically how it can stop us, how it can prevent us from moving forward and getting towards our purpose, right? Instead of, focusing on ego, we focus on our inner self-esteem and our inner self, right? So we talked about that. But here, let me give you some strategies, because I think this is what you guys really want, right? The good stuff. Strategies of letting go, okay, of the ego. Now, there's a few of them. One of the main ones that I would say, okay, well, I'll run them down to you first. Self-awareness, mindful and meditation, okay, service and humility, embracing failure and vulnerability, easier said than done, especially in today's society, and reframing success. Okay, so let's go through that real quick. So first of all, self-awareness. What I just said to you earlier, recognize ego-driven thoughts. Okay, when things are happening, when your life is going the way it's going, and all of a sudden, it's easier said than done, and you won't always be able to do it because you're a human being. Okay, but catch yourself when you're in that ego-driven thought. Okay, I'm operating out of ego right now. This is happening right now. I'm operating out of ego. Okay, so that if you're self-aware, that's the first part. That's the first step. Okay, now I understand that I'm self-aware, and I understand that this is something coming out of ego. Let me back up here and let me rearrange my thoughts and go back to the opposite. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, mindfulness and meditation. That will help you stay self-aware. Okay, what does it say? Cultivating presence and detachment. So basically, meditation, something that I do and something I've gotten more into now. It centers your mind, it centers your spirit, it centers your soul, right? You start your day off with meditation. That will help you with your awareness, because you're starting from a open place, a connected place, connected to the universe. Does that make sense? Not to get super, deep with it, but you're connected to the higher power. If you want to call it God, if you want to call it the universe, whatever you want to call it. If you start off connected to that, right? Then you are aware. Then it's easier and quicker for you to realize, hey, I'm stepping out of pocket. I'm stepping out of, I'm not moving right. Does that make sense? So that's another thing. The third thing is service and humility. This will definitely kick your ego's ass. This will definitely help you let go of the ego, because the ego does not like service unless it's being served to himself, right? So service and humility. Be humble, okay? Be humble. Shift your self-centered thinking, your self-centered goals to service-driven goals. Well, if I do this, I can make all that. No, instead of doing that, say, if I do this, how many people can I? Does that make sense? Okay. Anna's wrote a okay, we'll talk about that in a bit. So service and humility. Always think of it as, instead of what can I get out of it, how can I help? What can I do to help other people? What can I do? Whatever it is I'm going to do. What is whatever it is I'm going to do? How's it going to benefit someone else or benefit the greater good? Does that make sense? Okay. And then we have embracing failure and vulnerability. It is okay to be vulnerable, and it is okay to fail. Again, the ego doesn't like failing. The ego is not vulnerable at all. The ego is tough and hard and never fails and this and that. When you learn to surrender surrender your ego, when you learn to surrender that toughness, that exterior, and you trust the process, and you focus more on the actual process instead of the results, and you relax and you say, hey, you know what? It is okay to fail. I'm going to embrace failure. Okay? Because why? The ego will tell you it makes no sense to embrace failure. Of course, because you're going to fail anyway. Right? You're going to fail anyway. You're going to make a mistake, and it's okay. Because that, again, is a learning opportunity. It is a learning opportunity. It is okay to fail because then you learn. Now you know what not to do. Well, I won't do that again. Right? I won't go there again. I won't use that situation, whatever it is, right? You know better. But if you're hard-headed and you don't listen to yourself and you let ego drive you, you'll continue to make that mistake over and over and over. And then you wonder, why am I not making it? Why am I not? I'm doing everything I can and nothing's happening. You get frustrated because you keep doing the same thing over and over and over. You're not paying attention to the signs. You're not paying attention to the fact that you just made a mistake. You don't want to admit that mistake because you're hard-headed. It's okay to fail and be open and be honest with yourself. All right? Reframe success. Okay? Moving from external validation to internal fulfillment. We talked about that. Who cares about what people are thinking and doing and saying about us? How do I feel about myself? I have a program in my coaching where it talks about self-fulfillment and really digging deep within oneself to help them become better at how they see and feel about themselves, irregardless of external noise. Because the external noise doesn't matter. Society, Facebook, whatever, your mom, your cousins and them, none of that matters. It's how you feel about within yourself, okay? So reframe success. Success is not what everybody sees. When my business starts to explode and I start, and people see me on TV or whatever, that's not success. Maybe to the people that see it, but not to me. I'm not doing it so I can be super rich. I'm doing it to help people. So the internal part for me is I'm able to help more and more people. The more I grow, the more people see me, the more people are exposed to me, the more people I can help. Okay? That's the internal. That success is internal. It's got nothing to do with cars and jewelry, and I'm too old for all that anyway, and I don't really care about jewelry. I mean, you see what I got. So I don't care about jewelry, but the materialistic things and the society status and all of that, that's not success. Now you got to reframe your success. We got to rethink what success really is. Okay? So those are the main strategies. Okay? Let me see here. So let me ask you a question. What fears or attachments might be holding me back from fully embracing my purpose? I'll read it again. What fears or what is it that I'm attached to that might just be holding me back from fully embracing my purpose? You don't have to write it down if you don't want to, but if you do want to comment, feel free to do so. But think about that. What is it I'm holding on to that that's holding me back? Think about that. What is it that's holding on to that that's holding me back? So I got some homework for you guys. I want you guys to do some homework for me, okay? Let's see here. Final engagement. Here we go. So the homework that I want for you guys, I got a few things. So if you guys got a pen and a pad, please write this down because this is going to be good for you. For the next 7 days, catch yourself, okay, when ego takes over and write it down. Today is Thursday. So until next week, Thursday, this is what I want you to do. I want you to write down for the next 7 days, every single time the ego takes over and you catch it, write it down. And when you write down what you learned about it. Okay, that's a little mini coaching. I call it ghost coaching because I'm actually not there to coach you, but that's a little something that you can use. That's a little coaching tool that I use in my programs. Write it down. And when you do that for 7 days, you go, oh, you start to recognize patterns. You start to recognize triggers. You start to recognize things about yourself that you didn't really think about because it's subconscious, right? So you don't really think about those things. You just do them. You just act. And then you can, from that little piece right there, then you can start to change. Then you can start to chip away, Not just at the ego, but chip away at that part of yourself that's limiting yourself so that you can be the best version of yourself. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Somebody write down in the comments if it makes sense. Okay? So that's one of the things I want you to do. Let's see. We have also, I'm going to give you an affirmation that I want you to write down. And then we're going to talk about the gratitude practice. So let's talk about gratitude practice. For the next 7 days, this is homework. Not only do I want you to write down every time the ego, kicks in and you catch it and what you learn from that, I want you to write down for the next 7 days. Today's Thursday. So next Thursday. For the next 7 days, and I'll keep it easy on you. I want you to write down 3 things every single day. 3 things that you are grateful for. And I'm not talking about, my kids or the job. No, go deeper. Go deeper than the kids or the job or your man or your whatever, your money, whatever. Go deeper than that, right? Go deeper. Go like, I'm grateful for the fact that I'm really, starting to see the results of my personal development, or I'm grateful for the fact that I have, the sense enough to know that it's time for a change. That's what I'm saying. Go deep. Get deep in that, okay? Get deep in that, okay? So that's the gratitude thing. Now I'm going to read you guys this affirmation. And I want you can write it down. Matter of fact, I might even write it down I might leave it on the post, but I'll read it for you. I release the need for external validation. My purpose is enough. I'll say it again. I release the need for external validation. My purpose is enough. Okay, I want you to say that to yourself every day from here on out. Again, 7 days. You can start with 7 days, but say that. I release the need for external validation. My purpose is enough. You keep saying that to yourself over and over and over again, and you start to believe it. You start to work with yourself as far as gratitude being your attitude. You catch yourself when ego takes over. These things are like small things, but they're huge. They're huge things. They're gigantic things, right? Quantum leap type shit. But it takes time. Okay? It takes time. And it chips away piece by piece by piece at that negative limiting self that we all have. All of us have a part of us that is negative, that is limiting, that is trying to stop us from moving. All of us have it. Okay? We can't get rid of it. Okay? It's like having a sickness that you can't cure, but you can treat. Does that make sense? It's the same thing. You'll never get rid of your ego. You'll never get rid of limiting thoughts. You'll never get rid of that negative voice in the back of your head. You'll never get rid of it. It doesn't exist. Okay? The idea of you getting rid of it doesn't exist. But you can treat it. You can manage it. Okay? You can manage it. Okay? Because that's also a part of you. That's also you. The good you, the bad you, it's also you. So you can't get rid of you. You're you. You're here. Make sense? But you can manage it. You can manage it. So, this is pretty much the end of the webinar. I think I went a little bit longer than an hour today. I did. Wow. Well, no, I didn't do too bad. Oh, 50 minutes. Not bad, right? So listen, here comes the sales pitch. Okay. Those of you that heard this lecture, this webinar today, and you got something out of it, something that helped you, do me a favor, write it down in the comments. Okay? Write it down in the comments what you learned, what you found out about yourself. Maybe not what you found out about yourself, but what you learned, what helped you, what tool I gave you today that you can take with you and go, I'm going to use that. All right? Write it down. Now, most of you know, but some of you don't. I do coaching in both Swedish and English. I live in Sweden. I live here in Stockholm. So I think a lot of my followers here are, or some of my followers here are Swedish speaking followers. Some of you may want to be coached by me, but you wonder if I can do it in Swedish. Det är klart jag kan göra det på svenska. Det är ingen problem. So, om du är intresserad, if you're interested in the coaching and you want to know more about what I do, how I do it, please feel free to contact me. You can contact me at levelupcc065@gmail.com, or you can send me a DM right here on Facebook Messenger, okay, at Drew Murphy, DRU Murphy, and you just send me a DM or send me a DM here, whatever, and yeah, you send me a DM, and basically what happens is we talk about what it is your challenges are, your goals, your ideas as far as your self-worth and how you want to work and how you want to, change and move things around and step to that next level, right? And then what I do is I tell you how I do it, how much it costs, what the different programs are, so on and so forth. And then we take it from there. Now, if we're a match, we rock and roll. If not, it's okay. Okay, so, but by the way, calling me for the free call is free. The 1 hour call that we'll have, that's free. We can sit and have a conversation. You tell me your goals and everything else like that. That doesn't cost you anything. Just contact me, and then we'll set up a time. We'll book a time, and then we'll talk through. I like to talk through WhatsApp, the video version, because then I can actually see my client or a potential client, and they can actually see me. And I think the energy translates differently and much better than just talking on the phone or texting or whatever. So feel free to contact me, levelupcc065@gmail.com, or you can DM me at, Facebook is DRU Murphy, Drew Murphy, or Level Up Coaching and Consulting also has a Facebook page, but I don't think you can DM me from that. So if you want to DM me and you want to know, email me or DM me there. Also, I do have my Instagram, of course, is DRU_Murphy. Okay, so you can go there. You can also DM me there. All right. So feel free to contact me. Let's go ahead and get you started on your personal journey, your personal development journey today. There's nothing to be afraid of. Step out there and let's go ahead and get it going. It's 2025. We already got 2 months in, right? 2 months in 2025, and you said you wanted to do a better version of yourself. You said you wanted to be better. You said you wanted to do something. You said you wanted to grow. Now it's time for you to take the initiative and the responsibility to yourself to be better and be kind to yourself. Okay? Thank you for the evening. I enjoyed this. As always, I love doing these webinars. It gives me so much joy. It gives me so much energy. It's such a beautiful, beautiful thing to be able to share this information with you guys. And yeah, I love it. So until then, I will see you next week on Thursday. You guys take care of yourselves and have a blessed, blessed evening.